Hello, wonderful students. If you were watching this, if you were absent on Thursday, October 29th, I am Teacher Man. Mr. McDonald was not able to make it in today. He had important things to do, so he called me into action. So, in world literature, what did you do? Let's check this out. Alright, looks like Mr. McDonald signed World Literature, The House on Mango Street, and Symbolism. I love that story, The House on Mango Street. At first I was confused, but I kept at it, and I was like, this is a great, great, great story, because Teacher Man loves to be challenged. What is symbolism? Definition: something that on the surface is a literal self but which also has another meaning or even several meanings. A symbol may be said to embody an idea. There are two general types of symbols: universal symbols that embody universal recognizable meanings wherever used, such as light being used often to symbolize knowledge. Constructed symbols that are given symbolic meaning by way of an author uses them in a literary work, such as the four skinny trees in The House on Mango Street. Teacher Man is a symbol of education. When you look at Teacher Man, you think about education. When you look at the American flag, you think about freedom and democracy. When you look at a peace sign, that means peace. It doesn't mean two. This means peace. T. T means Teacher Man. Teacher Man uses his own symbols. That's what symbolism is. You gotta think a little bit about symbolism. Let's check out what the assignment is. It says reread the vignette, four skinny trees on page 64, then choose one of the options below to complete. Oh, we get two options. Four skinny trees is one of my favorite things in House on Mango Streets, where Esperanza is looking at the trees and it seems like she's talking to them and she has a relationship with the trees. Option 1, rewrite this vignette without mentioning trees. Oh my gosh, find the symbolism the trees provide and in your writing, use what they symbolize in place of the trees themselves. Super cool. So you would just simply rewrite this without using the word tree. So you got to think about what word are you going to put there instead of trees. That's crazy. I want to do that. Teacher Man might go back and do this assignment. Alright, but there's a second option. Let's see what he has. On a separate sheet of paper, draw a picture of what this chapter is illustrating. What do you see? What vision does this scene create for you? In your drawing, be sure to include words and phrases, labeling what the different parts of the drawing symbolize. Make sure to turn your drawing into me. Oh my gosh! So you also get to choose the choice of drawing. And so you just have to read through and see what this picture or what this visualizes in your head. Either one. I think when it says make sure to turn your drawing into me, that means Mr. McDowell. I don't think it means Teacher Man because I might not be here. Teacher Man's having a problem with his eye. Give him 1 second. This mask. Kids don't know. But it's important to hide my identity. Alright. So, rewrite this vignette without mentioning trees. Or draw the picture of what the chapter is illustrating. Make sure to use those questions to help guide you and follow along. Teacher Man wants you to do the best that you can do. Let's go to the reading. Oh my gosh, you guys are on page 81. Since Teacher Man is here, he is going to finish this book, because that's what he likes to do. He likes to finish books. So let's start off with Sally. Sally is the girl with eyes like Egypt and nylons the color of smoke. The boys at school think she's beautiful because her hair is shiny black like raven feathers, and when she laughs, she flicks her hair back like a satin shawl over her shoulders and laughs. Her father says to be beautiful is trouble. They are very strict in his religion. They are not supposed to dance. He remembers his sisters and is sad. Then she can't go out. Sally, I mean. Sally, who taught you to paint your eyes like Cleopatra? And if I roll the little brush with my tongue and chew it to a point and dip it in the muddy cake, the one in the little box, will you teach me? I like your black coat and those shoes you wear. Where did you get them? My mother says to wear black so young is dangerous, but I want to buy shoes just like yours. Like your black ones made out of suede, just like those. And one day, when my mother's in a good mood, maybe after my next birthday, I'm going to ask her to buy the nylons too. Cheryl, who is not your friend anymore, not since last Tuesday before Easter, not since the day you made her ear bleed, not since she called you that name and bit a hole in your arm, and you looked as if you were going to cry and everyone's waiting, you didn't, Sally. Not since then, you don't have a best friend to lean against the schoolyard fence with, to laugh behind your hands at what the boys say. There is no one to lend you her hairbrush. The stories the boys tell in the coat room, they're not true. You lean against the schoolyard fence alone with your eyes closed as if no one was watching, as if no one could see you standing there, Sally. What do you think about when you have your eyes when you close your eyes like that? And why you always have to go straight home after school? You become a different Sally. You pull your skirt straight, you rub the blue paint off your eyelids. You don't laugh, Sally. You look at your feet and walk fast to the house you can't come out from. Sally, do you sometimes wish you didn't have to go home? Do you wish your feet would one day keep walking and take you far away from Mango Street? Far away, and maybe your feet would stop in front of a house, a nice one, with flowers and big windows and steps for you to climb up two by two upstairs to where a room is waiting for you. And if you open a little window latch and gave it a shove, the windows would swing open, all the sky would come in. There'd be no noisy neighbors watching, no motorcycles and cars, no sheets and towels and laundry, only trees and more trees and plenty of blue sky. And you could laugh, Sally. You could go to sleep and wake up and never have to think who likes and doesn't like you. You could close your eyes and you wouldn't have to worry what people said because you never belonged here anyway, and nobody could make you sad, and nobody would think you're strange because you like to dream and dream. And no one could yell at you if they saw you out in the dark leaning against a car, leaning against somebody without someone thinking you were bad, without someone saying it is wrong, without the whole world wanting you to make a mistake, when all you wanted, Sally, was to love and to love and to love and to love, and no one could call that crazy. Minerva writes poems. Minerva is only a little bit older than me, but already she has two kids and a husband who left. Her mother raised her kids alone, and it looks like her daughters will go that way too. Minerva cries because her luck is unlucky, every night and every day, and prays. But when the kids are asleep, after she's fed them their pancake dinner, she writes poems on little pieces of paper that she folds over and over and holds in her hands a long time, little pieces that smell like a dime. She lets me read her poems. I let her read mine. She is always sad like a house on fire, always something wrong. She has many troubles, but the big one is her husband who left and keeps leaving. One day she is through and lets him know enough is enough. Out the doors he goes, clothes, record, shoes, out the window and the door locked. But that night he comes back and sends a big rock through the window. Then he is sorry and she opens the door again. Same story. Next week she comes back over black and blue and asks, "What can she do, Minerva? I don't know which way she'll go. There is nothing I can do." Coffee, because coffee's great. Bums in the attic. I want a house on a hill like the ones with the gardens where Papa works. We go on Sundays. Papa's day off. I used to go. I don't anymore. You don't like to go out with us, Papa says. Getting too old? Getting too stuck up, says Nanny. I don't tell them I'm ashamed. All of us staring out the window like the hungry. I'm tired of looking at what we can't have. When we win the lottery, Mama begins, and then I stop listening. People who live on hills sleep so close to the stars they forget those of us who live too much on earth. They don't look down at all except to be content to live on hills. They have nothing to do with last week's garbage or fear of rats. Night comes, nothing wakes them up but the wind. One day I'll own my own house, but I won't forget who I am or where I came from. Passing bums will ask, "Can I come in?" I'll offer them the attic, ask them to stay because I know how it is to be without a house. Some days after dinner, Gus and I will sit in front of the fire. Floorboards will squeak upstairs. The attic rumbles. Rats will ask? Bums, I'll say, and I'll be happy. Beautiful and cruel. I am an ugly daughter. I am the one nobody comes for. Nene says she won't wait her whole life for her husband to come and get her. That Minerva's sister left her mother's house by having a baby, but she doesn't want to go that way either. She wants things all her own, to pick and choose. Nene has pretty eyes. It's easy to talk that way if you are pretty. My mother says when I get older my dusty hair will settle and my blouse will learn to stay clean, but I have decided not to grow up tame like the others who lay their necks on the threshold waiting for the ball and chain. In the movies, there's always one with red lips who is beautiful and cruel. She's the one who drives them crazy and laughs them all away. Her power is her own. She will not give it away. I have begun my own quiet war. Simple, sure. I am one who leaves the table like a man without putting back the chair or picking up the plate. A smart cookie. I could have been somebody, my mother says and sighs. She has lived in this city her whole life. She can speak two languages, she can sing an opera, she knows how to fix a TV, but she doesn't know which subway train to take downtown. I hold her hand very tight while we wait for the right train to arrive. She used to draw when she had time. Now she draws with a needle and thread, little knotted rosebuds, tulips made of silk thread. Some days she would like to go to the ballet. Some days she would like to see a play. She borrows opera records from the public library and sings with velvety lungs as powerful as morning glories. Today, while cooking oatmeal, she is Madame Butterfly, until she sighs and points the wooden spoon at me. I could have been someone, Esperanza. You go to school, study hard. That Madame Butterfly was a fool. She stirs the oatmeal. Look at my comadres. She means Izara, whose husband left, and Yolanda, whose husband's dead. Got to take care of all your own, she says, shaking her head. Then out of nowhere, shame's a bad thing, It keeps you down. You want to know why I quit school? Because I didn't have nice clothes. No clothes, but I had brains. Yep, she says, disgust is stirring again. I was a smart cookie then. what Sally said. He never hits me hard, she said. Her mama rubs lard all over the places where it hurts. Then at school she'll say she fell. That's where all the blue places come from. That's why her skin is always scarred. But who believes her? A girl that big, a girl come in with her pretty face all beaten and black, can't be falling off stairs. He never hits me hard. But Sally doesn't tell about the time he hit her with his hands just like a dog, she said, like if I was an animal. He thinks I'm going to run away like his sisters who made the family ashamed, just because I'm a daughter, and then she doesn't say. Sally was going to get permission to stay with us a little while, with us a little, and one Thursday she came finally with a sack full of clothes and a paper bag of sweetbread her mamma sent, and would have stayed too, except when the dark came, her father, whose eyes were little from crying, knocked on the door and said, "Please come back. This is the last time." And she said, "Daddy," and went home. Then we didn't need to worry. Until one day Sally's father catches her talking to a boy, and the next day she doesn't come to school, and the next. Until the way Sally tells it, he just went crazy. He forgot he was her father between the buckle and the belt. "You're not my daughter, you're not my daughter." And then he broke into his hands. The Monkey Garden. The monkey doesn't live there anymore. The monkey moved to Connecticut and took his people with him, and I was glad because I couldn't listen anymore to his wild screaming at night, the twangy yakety yak of people who owned him, the green metal cage, the porcelain tabletop, the family that spoke like guitars, monkey family table, all gone. And it was then we took over the garden we had been afraid to go into when the monkey screamed and showed its yellow teeth. There were sunflowers, big as flowers on Mars, and thick cockcombs pleating the deep red fringe of theater curtains. There were dizzy bees and bow-tied fruit flies turning somersaults and humming in the air. Sweet, sweet peach trees, thorns, roses, and thistle and pears, weeds like so many squinty-eyed stars, and brush that make your ankles itch and itch until you wash with soap and water. There were big green apples, hard as knees, and everywhere the sleepy smell of rotting wood, damp earth, and dusty hollyhocks, thick and perfumy like the blue blonde hair of the head. Dead. Yellow spiders ran when we turned the rocks over, and pale words, blind and afraid of light, rolled it over in their sleep. Poke a stick in the sandy soil, and a few blue-skinned beetles would appear. An avenue of ants so crusty, so many crusty ladybugs. There was a garden, a wonderful thing to look at in the spring, but bit by bit, after the monkey left, the garden began to take over itself. Flowers stopped obeying the little bricks that kept them from growing beyond their paths. Weeds mixed in. Dead cars appeared overnight like mushrooms. First one, and then another, and then a pale blue pickup with the front windshield missing. Before you knew it, the monkey garden became filled with sleeping cars. Things had a way of disappearing in the garden, as if the garden itself ate them, or as if with an old man's memory it put them away and forgot them. Nanny found $1 and a dead mouse between two rocks in the stone wall where the morning glories climbed, and once when we were playing hide and seek, Eddie Vargas laid his head beneath a hibiscus tree and fell asleep there like a Rip Van Winkle until someone remembered he was in the game and went back to get him. This, I suppose, was the reason why we went there, far away from where our mothers could find us. We and a few old dogs who lived inside the empty cars. We made a clubhouse once on the back of the old blue pickup. And besides, we liked to jump from the roof of one car to another and pretend they were giant mushrooms. Somebody started to lie that the monkey garden had been there before anything. We liked to think the garden could hide things for 1,000 years. There, beneath the roots of soggy flowers were the bones of murdered pirates and dinosaurs. The eye of a unicorn turned to coal. This is where I wanted to die and where I tried one day, but not even the monkey garden would have me. It was the last day I would go there. Who was it that said I was getting too old to play the games? Who was it I didn't listen to? I'll remember that when the others ran, I wanted to run too, up and down and through the monkey garden, fast to the boys, not like Sally who screamed if she got her stockings muddy. I said, "Sally, come on," but she wouldn't. She stayed by the curb talking to Tito and his friends. "Play with the kids if you want," she says. "I'm staying here." She could be stuck up if she wanted to, so I just left. It was her own fault too. When I got back, Sally was pretending to be mad, something about the boys having stolen her keys. "Please give them back to me," she said, punching the nearest one with a soft fist. They were laughing. She was too. It was a joke I didn't get. I wanted to go back with the other kids who were still jumping on cars, still chasing each other through the garden, but Sally had her own game. One of the boys invented the rules. One of Tito's friends said you can't get your keys back unless you kiss us, and Sally pretended to be mad at first, but she said yes. It was that simple. I don't know why, but something inside me wanted to throw a stick. Something wanted to say no when I watched Sally go into the garden with Tito's buddies all grinning. It was just a kiss, that's all. A kiss for each one. So what, she said. Only, how come I felt angry inside, like something wasn't right? Sally went behind that old blue pickup to kiss the boys to get her keys back, and I ran up 3 flights of stairs to where Tito lived. Her mother was ironing shirts. She was sprinkling water on them from an empty pop bottle and smoking a cigarette. Your son and his friends stole Sally's keys, and now they won't give them back unless she kisses them. And right now they're making her kiss them, I said, all out of breath from the 3 flights of stairs. Those kids, she said, now looking up for her ironing. That's all? What do you want me to do? She said. Call the cops? And kept on ironing. I looked at her for a long time, but couldn't think of anything to say, and ran down the 3 flights of stairs to the garden where Sally needed to be saved. I took 3 big sticks and a brick and figured that was enough. But when I got there, Sally said, "Go home." Those boys said, "Leave us alone." I felt stupid with my brick. They all looked at me as if I was the one who was crazy and made me feel ashamed. And I don't know why, but I had to run away. I had to hide myself at the other end of the garden, in the jungle part, under a tree that wouldn't mind if I laid down and cried a long time. I closed my eyes like tight stairs so that I wouldn't, but I did. My face felt hot. Everything inside hiccuped. I read somewhere in India there were priests who can will their heart stop beating. I wanted to will my heart to stop, to quit its pumping. I wanted to be dead, to turn into the rain. My eyes melt into the ground like 2 black snails. I wished and wished. I closed my eyes and willed it, but when I got up, my dress was green and I had a headache. I looked at my feet and their white socks and ugly round shoes. They seemed far away. They didn't seem to be any feet anymore, and the garden that had been such a good place to play didn't seem to mind either. Red clowns. Sally, you lied. It wasn't what you said at all, what he did, where he touched me. I didn't want it, Sally. The way they said it, the way it's supposed to be, all the storybooks and movies. Why did you lie to me? I was waiting by the red clowns. I was staying by the tilt-a-whirl where you said. And anyway, I don't like carnivals. I went to be with you because you laugh on the tilt-a-wheel. You throw your head back and laugh. I hold your change, wave, count how many times you go by. Those boys that look at you because you're pretty, I like to be with you, Sally. You're my friend. But that big boy, where did he take you? I waited such a long time. I waited by the red clowns, just like you said, but you never came. You never came for me. Sally, Sally, 100 times. Why didn't you hear me when I called? Why didn't you tell them to leave me alone? The one who grabbed me by the arm, he wouldn't let me go. He said, "I love you, Spanish girl, I love you," and pressed his sour mouth to mine. Sally, make him stop. I couldn't make them go away. I couldn't do anything but cry. I don't remember. It was dark. I don't remember. I don't remember. Please don't make me tell it all. Why did you leave me all alone? I waited my whole life. You're a liar. They all lied. All the books and magazines, everything, they told it wrong. Only his dirty fingernails against my skin. Only his sour smell again. The moon that watched the tilt-a-whirl, the red counts laughing their thick tongue laugh. Then the colors began to whirl, sky-tipped. Their high black gym shoes ran. Sally, you lied, you lied. He wouldn't let me go. He said, I love you, Spanish girl. Linoleum roses. Sally got married like we knew she would. Young and not ready, but married just the same. She met a marshmallow salesman at a school bazaar and she married him in another state where it's legal to get married before 8th grade. She has her husband in her house now, her pillowcases and her plates. She says she's in love, but I think she did to escape. Sally says she likes being married because now she gets to buy her own things with her husband gives her money. She's happy, except sometimes her husband gets angry and once he broke the door where his foot went through, though most days he is okay. Except he won't let her talk on the telephone, and he doesn't let her look out the window, and he doesn't like her friends, so nobody gets to visit her unless he's working. She sits at home because she's afraid to go outside without his permission. She looks at all the things they own, the towels and the toaster, the alarm clock and the drapes. She likes looking at the walls, at how neatly their corners meet, linoleum roses on the floor, the ceiling smooth as wedding cake. The Three Sisters. They came with the wind that blows in August, thin as a spiderweb and barely noticed. Three who did not seem to be related to anything but the moon, one with laughter like tin, and one with the eyes of a cat, and one with hands like porcelain. The aunts, the three sisters, Las Comadres, they said. The baby died. Lucy and Rachel's sister. One night a dog cried, and the next day a yellow bird flew in through an open window. Before the week was over, the baby's fever was worse. Then Jesus came and took the baby with him far away. That's what the mother said. Then, when the visitors came in and out of the little house, it was hard to keep the floors clean. Anybody who had ever wondered what color the walls were came to look at the little thumb of a human in a box like candy. I'd never seen the dead before, not for real, not in somebody's living room for people to kiss and bless themselves and light a candle for, not in a house. It seemed strange. They must have known, the sisters. They had the power and could sense what. They said, "Come here," and gave me a stick of gum. They smelled like Kleenex or the inside of a satin handbag, and then I didn't feel afraid. "What's your name?" the cat-eyed one asked. "Esperanza," I said. Esperanza, the old blue-veined one repeated in high, thin voice. Esperanza, a good, good name. My knees hurt, the one with the funny laugh complained. Tomorrow will rain. Yes, tomorrow, they said. How do you know? I asked. We know. Look at her hands, Cat Eye said. And they turned them over and over as if they were looking for something. She's special. Yes, she'll go very far. Yes, yes, Make a wish. A wish? Yes, make a wish. What do you want? Anything, I said. Well, why not? I closed my eyes. Did you already? Yes, I said. Well, that's all there is to it. It'll come true. How do you know? I asked. We know. We know. Esperanza, the one with marble hands, called me aside. Esperanza. She held my face with her blue-veined hands and looked at me. A long silence. When you leave, you must remember always to come back, she said. What? When you leave, you must remember to always come back for the others. A circle, you understand? You'll always be Esperanza. You will always be Mango Street. You can't erase what you are. You can't forget who you are. Then I didn't know what to say. It was as if she could read my mind, as if she knew what I wished for, and I felt ashamed for having made such a selfish wish. You must remember to come back for the ones who cannot leave as easily as you. You will remember, she asked, as if she was telling me. Yes, yes, I said, a little confused. Good, she said, rubbing her hands. Teacher man has a problem with his eye. Good, that's all. You can go. I got up to join Lucy and Rachel, who were already outside waiting by the door, wondering what I was doing talking to three old ladies who smelled like cinnamon. I didn't understand everything they told me. I turned around, they smiled and waved in their smoky way. Then I didn't see them, not once or twice or ever again. Alicia and I talking on Edna's steps. I like Alicia because once she gave me a little leather purse with the word Guadalajara stitched on it, which is home for Alicia, and one day she'll go back there. But today she's listening to my sadness because I don't have a house. Live right here, 4006 Mango, Alicia says and points to the house I'm ashamed of. No, this isn't my house, I say and shake my head as if shaking could undo the year I've lived here. I don't belong. I don't ever want to come from here. You have a home, Alicia, and one day you'll go there. A town to remember. But me, I never had a house, not even a photograph, only one I dream of. No, Alicia says, like it or not, you are Mango Street, and one day you'll come back too. Not me, not until somebody makes it better. What's going to do it? The mayor? And the thought of the mayor coming to Mango Street makes you laugh out loud. Who's going to do it? Not the mayor. A house of my own. Not a flat, not an apartment in the back, not a man's house, not a daddy's. A house all my own with my porch and my windows, my pretty purple petunias, my books and my stories, my two shoes waiting beside the bed, nobody to shake a stick at, nobody's garbage to pick up after, only a house quiet as snow, a space for myself to go, clean as paper before the poem. Mingo says goodbye sometimes. I like to tell stories. I tell them inside my head. I tell them what the mailman says. Here's your mail, he said. I make a story for my life. For each step my brown shoe takes, I say, and so she trudged up the wooden stairs, her sad brown shoes taking her to the house she never liked. I like to tell stories. I'm going to tell you a story about a girl who didn't want to belong. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis on the third floor, and before that, lived on Keeler. Before Keeler was Carolina. But what I remember most about Mango Street's sad red house, the house I belong but do not belong to. I put it down on paper, and then the house does not. It does, and then the ghost does not ache so much. I write it down, and Mango says goodbye sometimes. She does not hold me with both arms. She sets me free. One day I'll pack my books and paper. One day I'll say goodbye to Mango. I am too strong for her to keep me forever. One day I'll go away. Friends and neighbors will say, "What happened to Esperanza? Where did she go with all those books and paper? Why did she march so far away?" They will not know I have gone away to come back. For the ones I left behind. For the ones who cannot out. That is the end of your novel. I hope that you enjoy this. As always, we will have a good analysis about that a little bit later in another video. Teacher Man thanks you for listening. Hopes that you enjoyed everything, and you have a wonderful day. Mr. McDonald should be back soon.